Hello everybody and welcome back to our to a quick lesson. We are going to explore cracks again, except this time we're going to use a mask, a brush, and a filter for I think a little bit more professional result and a little more control. Uh, we have here a texture layer, a plaster layer, excuse me, and underneath that we have a brick layer. And what we're going to do is cut through the plaster layer and expose the brick. First thing we're going to do is quickly add a mask to this, and I'm actually going to add a style to this, and all this is the effect, the same effect with drop shadow and bevel and emboss that we've been using in all our previous lessons, and you can actually save those as a pre-made style just to quickly do it since we have limited time here. What I'm going to do is on the next one of these next lessons I'm going to show you how to save those. Okay, so we have our mask applied here. Okay, I don't have it selected because I don't need it, and I have the layer style here. We have the black color picked. We'll pick a brush. Let's hit F5. It's set pretty much how I want. I have the spacing set down. In my case, I'm using the pen pressure to control the size so that I can fade out the cracks. And if you don't have that, you could use the fade setting in there to get a similar effect. Okay, so watch this as we begin cutting through this plaster. Say we want the bottom of this to be cracked. Now I can adjust that that layer effect later, but I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Do you see what's happening here really quick? Look at that. We're actually cutting through this. Actually, we could probably adjust the opacity of the plaster layer so we can kind of follow the bricks somewhat. Okay, so we have a little bit of a basic, and I'm going to make a big splotch here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the brush size and start to do some of the spidery cracks rising from those areas like that, connecting some of these. Okay, and so this is kind of a cool way to work because you can see what's going on and do it in kind of an interactive way. See, I really should be following the bricks because it makes sense that the plaster would detach from the bricks, like maybe around the mortar and stuff, but that's okay. So we're going to reduce the brush size even a little further. Oops, did I go down? There I go. And then we're going to go like that. We got a few spidery cracks, and you'll find as you experiment with this that by connecting these open areas, when you go through this process using the filter later, you get more realistic cracked areas. Okay, they're affected differently if these areas are closed by cracks, and from a little experimenting you'll see which. Okay, so we got a little bit of that going on, and if we wanted to we could stamp this with another one, but because of the time constraints I'm not really gonna. So now we're gonna repeat the operation we did in the previous one. We're gonna actually go to blur more, and you can explore with different try different kinds of blur. I'm gonna hit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is go to filter maximum, and I kind of blew the whole thing away because I have it set for 9 pixels, but if I pull it back, look at the cracks start to appear here. Okay, so that's a little too much. Maybe go to 3, 6. No, let's try 5. Sometimes it's easier to type in the numbers. There you go. Maybe now 3 is actually okay. So then we can go back, and this is basically it, and we have a few seconds remaining. But what you could do now is adjust the effects, okay? Because this obviously these colors are not quite right. You have a drop shadow. The shadow, I'm going to pick the brick color and pull it down so it's somewhat in that range of color. I'm running out of seconds, so I'm just going to work and talk my way out, okay? So you could just experiment with that a little bit to get a more realistic effect. You have the contour settings. You can adjust a little bit. That highlight color is not right. It's a little too light, and I think we're going to run out right now. But anyhow, I hope that this gives you some ideas for your own work. See you in the next lesson.